Little people. I mean, of course, party people. I don't belittle you. Unless I feel like it. Other than that, it was a boring Dynamite. Really boring Dynamite into the standpoint of me actually being conflicted to rewatch it because I had to miss out because of personal matters. Other than this, we had about at least like four tag team matches and one being a multi-man tag team match involving literally nearly the entire inner circle against not only the best friends, not only top flight. Oh my god. But the Varsity Blondes is just a jobber tag team of Brian Pillman Jr. and some guy named Griff Garrison. We had about like at least two one-on-one matches that nobody cared about. I mean, the only thing that I found decent enough was a tag team match involving Serena D, Big Swole versus Eva Lise and Diamante. With the two chicks that look like they're in their 40s, and Big Swole just looks weird. Average selling. I found a cool little leg cross submission into into a vertical suplex. We had some really cool creative moves over the top over the ropes with Evilise and Diamante. That was literally my favorite match of the night. Then we had awkward audio quality over the opening interview with Dasha Gonzalez interviewing Dustin Rhodes. Just the issue, all because he insulted him, being third most important in the Rhodes family. He issued over a match after beating Mr. Tenso face off against Evil Uno next week. Then we had an opening contest match that, like, I'm trying to understand, like, the Dark Order's entire identity of how to make a major cultist faction feel like freaking comedic relief with no semblance of a identity at all, and it just sucks. And they're trying to make this jobber joke of a group, try to hitch in some of the top like singles guys in the company for some crappy allegiance with them already jobbing out in their first outing to the Private Party and Matt Hardy that's so inconflicted with popular gimmicks that he'll just like shift out to the delete stuff. He try to be Money Matt. He tries to be selfish, and it showed up when he stole the pin after the Private Party hit their finishing move of some kind of hurricane run into a cutter. That's so like SVR lazy creative finisher, and it's so like right like unreplayable. All Matt Hardy did was steal over the pin. We had some dumb clotheslines. John Silver has like baby muscular arms. I'm not that compelled, especially with we also have in like SCU beat the Acclaimed all because they. Let me tell you something. The match was trash. They got hit up over with a boombox. I mean, I think that Anthony Bowen, he looks good. He has a semblance of a bit of a charm. Their whole little rap shtick sucks, though. It has him calling the Young Bucks a couple of cucks. They've been targeting the Young Bucks, and they get a title shot come the holiday special Dynamite after NBA opening night. So there we go. I guess like they try. People would be like, "Oh, the show wasn't that bad." That like be for real. There's been like four multi-man tag team matches. Not even like one including like three different tag teams against an entire faction wasn't even watchable. Your main eventer is just a glorified permanent mid-carder holding your world title of very little charisma. Tony Schiavone buried the crap out of Don Callis just by asking for the freaking headset. They are such jobber main eventers, you won't even get it twisted. He just said, "Kiss my ass, you beat it." Just, I know it's crass. He buried the crap out of it, and then he apologized later. We also had the Inner Circle against three jobber tag teams. The Inner Circle, the match was okay. Decent drop kicks. We had a rear naked move into an exploder suplex. The decent tope suicidas. Brian Pillman Jr. was just kicking the crap out of Chris Jericho. We had, of course, a multi-man throwing moves, and then it ends with victory by the Inner Circle over Swagger with his finisher. Then MJF takes the pin off asking permission. So it looks like the Inner Circle are getting momentum. And then we had everybody coming up and beating Jericho, top flight drop kicking Jericho and MJF. I guess we shoot up to a match with them next week. Cody, congrats on the kid though, congrats. That's not gonna shift over your entire like mediocre one-on-one matches. Like you give Warhorse a title shot for your top, what you call the Ace mid card championship. Like, dude. And he faced off against Angelico, or the only relevant thing he did was literally in freaking a dying wrestling fed by the name of Lucha Underground. That's the only time that Angelico's in the conversation. I'm not saying that he isn't talented in any sense of the means. It's just that he doesn't have anything except that he slumps into the ring with his crappy breakdancing and he does average lucha libre. Bro, I'm just saying. It's just. I'm summing this out as close as possible because I had to waste several, like, at least 2 hours watching this episode. And it's just multi-man matches with minimalistic storytelling until you hit up to the main event. And you forget that Kenny Omega's your world champion and he's doing other stuff on Impact. So, the match was fine. He hit over this inverted little finger four cross leg submission, hit over to the ropes. It ends with a springboard. Cody cut it for the victory, other than the crossroads. So over all that stuck. We had Team Taz coming into the ring, calling over fathers and stuff. Ricky Starks saying that they beat him in the tag team match the other week, and Brian Cage will have Darby Allin in the future. Sting comes with it just as bad. Like, he's an old man that obviously has a history with injuries. Any of his backup is on the nosebleeds, and one is in the middle of the ring, just several feet away. While it's like a 5-on-1 collision with some old dude. That just sounds forcibly epic, just to have like Sting have some semblance of being a badass, even though we know he's a broken old man that is really gonna sell over the fact that he's not gonna wrestle as he was like back on TNA. And I'm bringing up the standard because that's the most recent active action he had over the past several years, other than WWE screwing him up. We also had Thunder Rosa in a back promo going over why is she fighting over with Britt Baker over costing her a shot for costing her a match for the NWA Women's Championship against Serena Deeb, and that's why she's trying to kick her ass and why she belongs here at AEW. I thought it was an average promo until Britt Baker with Rebel coming around, jumping her, and then washing out her face paint kind of horribly, kind of mixes around anyway, because probably it's a really tough makeup to do. So that's technically it. The most enticing stuff is the women's division stuff, and that's more depressing because later on, after that deep big swell tag team match, I was pretty good. Uh, Awesome Kong, Vicky Guerrero, then the rest of Diamante and Evil Ace attack them with some backup coming from Red Velvet, barely holding over a chair, even though it's like a 4-on-1. So they already written off the feud with Jade because Britt Baker. Yeah, Brandy's pregnant, so can't do much over that storyline. Still, congrats on the kid. I don't even care because there's barely even like any semblance of a relation other than Brandy doing more of the confliction than Cody. I mean, the most that happened was her getting her arm broken and Shaq mocking her while, like, the biggest hype thing is Shaq, yet Cody's getting all this mainstream appeal storylines while the world champion's beating fat asses like Joey Jelena. I'll have a video on that soon enough. It's just trash, dude. The, the And I want to like hype over the fact that Cody, like Shaquille O'Neal's going to be in a wrestling match, even though people have been trying to get Shaq to be in WWE to face off against guys like the Big Show, Roman Reigns, or stuff. And it's like Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, are you serious? Shaq can eat this guy, and it's just trash. Like how this forcible mid card is trying to point himself over to the main event scene so much to put himself so higher than the actual world champion that they are needingly to get over to get a casual audience in. So we have our main event that is Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela and and false count any some no holds barred match with Sunny Kiss like being the showgirl guy. I'm not doing that. Showgirl guy for this dude. And as soon as Kenny Omega makes his entrance with his crappy little 80s apparel broom chicks, he gets bashed in the head immediately with a trash can. Then Don Callis got roasted on commentary with Tony Schiavone being like, "You don't want the smoke. Kiss my ass. You ain't anything. You suck. You got no person. You look like if Adam Pearce was 20 years older with brain cancer. You suck, Don Callis." Now that's just me talking at this point because I hate Don Callis. It's like, you don't even know how you get in the wrestling business, kid. Weren't you like a colored commentator on Impact, like a dying now indie fed? Freaking idiot. I hate Don Callis. Like, Kenny Omega then comes out with like moonsault with the trash bin, dropkick over the trash bin, and then he wants to take it like he's that interesting of a character. He's like, "Get up, Joey Janela." Then V trigger, V trigger. There was a leg drop off Joey from the table. The match ends with vigorous V triggers until he hits up the one-winged angel, but no one ever kicked out of. Even though, like in his first title match of the year, he gets kicked out of his own finish. But other than that, Kenny wins. Death Triangle, even though earlier in the show he's still feuding with Eddie Kingston, beating him out, Lance Archer, and an affiliation, yet he still wants to target the world title. Well, not. He'll fill in. He'll actually give one of his Death Triangle mates a shot at the world title because uh, he never lost a tournament. He forcibly was filled in by Penta Zero Metal because Eddie wanted to face off against his friend if he won the world title. So that's technically it. That's the only reason. The I don't mind the dumb, forcible, overactive build of like this, like cookie cutter Chris Jericho made a freaking tofu BS with another mid card match. Like Moxley doesn't want a rematch. I heard that I think Renee's getting a child, so hopefully that's the only excuse. Jericho's not issuing over a title shot because he's beaten Kenny before, literally on an AEW pay-per-view. He's beaten, like, there's many other guys that are obviously over top of the card that at least has an issue. Even Hangman, like, they want to issue over the storyline of their friendship. They don't even coexist with that and have him feuding with this jobber faction like the Dark Order. And I'm just not that over enticed. I'll give this a 4 out of 10. I just thought this was a mediocre Dynamite in my opinion. I thought there was way too many tag team matches with minimalist storytelling. The the matches were a bit lackluster other than the female match. The main event was okay, but like this could have been like a random mid card match. And especially for Kenny, you need more to build him up while you have like Cody facing Shaq and having interactions with Sting and Team Taz. It's way better than most of the factions you have because at least they showed to actually be an ass kicking group over literally the Inner Circle and freaking Dark Order. That's a cult BTE faction. That's a running joke. They suck. But that's besides the point. This is my review of AEW Dynamite December 16th. If you guys enjoy the snow day like I'm having here in my area, then you'll enjoy this crap Dynamite review. Other than that, that's it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.